Okay, for those of you that couldn't...
Talk for an hour and a half. If you just missed out, there's 2 breaking news stories here. The first one
No, wait
is-
1 second. Let me start again. I'll edit this part out. Let's start again.
Oh, that was gold.
Oh, come on. We got everyone up to speed.
All right, well, all you need to know is that Jordan is a grade A idiot when it comes to betting. Yesterday, when everyone, including the Biden campaign, was saying, I don't know if Biden, if who knows who the candidate will be, Jordan continued to bet more.
18 to 1. 18 to
All
1.
based on some weird autistic professor who said, the incumbency advantage cannot be discounted, guys.
You're literally better off betting on Jake Paul to win at that point. But I feel really bad too because the day before he dropped out, Jordan asked me, he's like, use your shinning and predict what's going to happen. I was just like, I predict Biden will win.
That's amazing. You know what you are, Miss Love? You're just a talking rabbit foot. You're like a good luck charm that I'm just like, come on, Mishy, don't steer me wrong. I should just pat your bald head and be like, Kamala. I don't know what's
fuck, my eyes. Dude, my eyes
really
hurt from
like that I'm
squinting.
a pathetic, hopeless gambler on
Yeah.
Super. I like it.
But can I? Okay, I'm just sort of defending myself here, but because of our the sort of like wealth gap in our earning power, my $10 equals your $5,000. It's just about it's about the same shit.
Yeah, well, okay. So this is the other breaking story that Ali tried to get off the air and not let the people know.
No way, he didn't want to upload it.
Miss Love not devoting an hour and a half of the last pod.
You fuck.
Coming to the conclusion. You know what his big? You know what his
you want
big
to take it
conclusion
down?
of last week? You weren't here, Ali.
Oh, I thought
wasn't here.
I
What
thought
you know
Ali
what
wanted
the
to take
whole
it down.
podcast boiled down to?
What?
Miss Love learns that cash converters doesn't give you a good rate.
Okay, here's... Here, I'm going to be honest about it. When you did send me the video for last time's pod between you, I did consider not uploading.
I knew it.
And I ended up
Unbelievable.
not uploading it on Saturday. And then Sunday came and I was like, what am I doing? I have to do it. And I put it up. And the first thing was, this is a shit show. And I was like, so I haven't looked at the views of it. I haven't looked at the comments of it.
I have.
I haven't looked at anything.
I have.
I've ignored that happened.
It's my peak. It's my peak. I'm so proud of that.
And it was also 2.5 hours longer than normal. So I was like, oh my God. Okay, so someone forgot not to...
It was, you know what it was? I think it was the most educational podcast we've ever done. I had to educate Miss Love on the fine economic principle of devaluation.
Yeah, he did.
And he learned, and it finally got to him, that who'd have thought that the price that you pay for a CD at Big W is not the price that a loan shark is going to give you for that.
It sucks. It
That's what he was
sucks.
saying. He could not believe that they cost $30, and then when you go to cash converters, you're lucky if they give you $1.
Yeah, I still can't
You're
believe
lucky.
it.
Miss,
And
okay.
he's still, look at him. He's still paying it.
Yeah.
I lost $5,000. I'm happy about it.
Hey,
I'm
you've lost
embracing
6.
this new identity
also
of
told
just
me-
being a slot jockey.
6. You also told me to put in 1,000 on your behalf. Let's not forget that.
Fuck! 6K.
We didn't need to say that
1,300.
live.
6.3K.
Why couldn't you edit that part out?
Because I didn't want to. I felt really bad about bringing it up, but
Yeah,
I
but dude, this
felt
is the,
it needs to be done. The man needs to know there's an extra 1.3K that he's down.
but this is the difference. This is the difference. You lose 6.K, and then you literally make a self-help video called "I lost 6.3. I lost 6K" with you in the corner going, "Duh," and then that just goes, "Drrr," and you just get it back.
Yeah, you're right. That's
mean,
literally why I'm
you
not
do
sad
realize
about
that
it
the
at all.
view count
See, this
isn't
the
dollar
insane, Okay, I guess it's like, it is an unfair burden on the economy. It really is.
What?
Okay, Miss Love spends his entire life collecting, let's be honest, very obscure musicians that literally no one on earth cares about. Like, probably not even their mums.
Forest
Just
Hall.
Miss Love, that's it, right?
We've had enough digs at that band, I think.
I do get his argument that maybe because that is a collector's item, there should be some sort of value for it. But there's more value for me laughing about making very dumb financial decisions. Like, there's more of an economy in that.
Way more.
Way more.
Way more.
Okay, I do get it.
I-
All
but-
right, I'm
but
sorry.
You should.
No, no. You should be.
feel sorry
You should
for
be.
you.
Yeah, you should be. You should be.
You shouldn't feel too bad. I still think it was a good bet.
What? His bet?
Yeah.
I still think I made the right decision, damn it.
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. I was pissed off last time when I bet the midterms and was right. And that was a 10 to 1. And I was right. And then Sportsbet said,
Yeah.
but it didn't happen like in time. I was like, what? So you just call the Melbourne Cup halfway through, do you? Just that
So
horse is
annoying.
ahead. No, Maccabi Diva didn't win.
Did you go with
Greenland?
Did you go with Sportsbet this time too?
Yes.
Fuck. You are crusty.
I'm crusty.
You're
I'm
crusty.
Pathetic.
But
I'll never wreck with you again. Give me 100 on the Globetrotters. That's you.
Jordan,
Fuck.
you know the reason why I put that 1.3 on his behalf? He's like, Sportsbet put a limit on me. It might have something to do with the fact that I was very litigious with them.
They limited you.
Dude, I sent them a lot of threatening legal letters. I got my lawyer.
I remember that. I remember that.
Dude, I was so wronged. I was right, damn it.
You
were
know how you're
wrong.
always saying, like, I'm a funny man? May I, if I will, in this instance, say to you, you, my friend, are a funny man.
Praise from Caesar.
Dude, call me Cicero, because that shit is whack.
It's insane.
Oh.
I mean, Ali, you've noticed this, right?
Okay,
The older
stop.
men get, the funnier they get. Because it's just because the male brain gets more and more obsessed with one thing as time goes on, and it just keeps getting further and further away from general reality.
Yeah.
I think we're still look. This is a point where we switch gears. Enough about you crying about your lost money.
Come on, we got 2 hours
This is
to fill.
this was supposed to be an emergency podcast on Biden's drop and
Well, that was-
Harris's ascendancy to the crown.
That was a consequence of his loss.
Let's first quickly. Let's start with Miss Love, the psychic. What's your official take about Biden dropping out? Was it the right decision?
Oh, dude.
What do you think is happening next?
Listen. We're through the looking glass here, people. I obviously, my powers are failing me because I thought he was going to win, so I don't know how reliable I am. I think him dropping out was a terrible idea. Terrible.
Really? Why do
Yeah.
you think it was terrible?
A long list of reasons. Do you want me to go through them?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why this is
This
an
is-
emergency podcast.
Miss Love, I really need this.
Okay. So, wait, you want to know why it was dumb?
Yeah, why do you think he shouldn't have? What was the
Dude,
reason?
okay, a simple fact that it's still, you still got the Rust Belt, you still got a white middle class majority, you still have old fucking women and old men. They didn't want to vote for Hillary. You think they're going to vote for black Jamaican Hillary?
Oh my God, this is what we're talking
Jamaican
about.
Hillary.
It's not going to, I just don't think Americans are going to vote for
You,
it.
sir, are a racist.
Yeah.
firstly.
Well, I'm not saying I'm them, but I think
yeah.
Well, then in that case, it's fine. You're just saying that there's some
not-
bad
yeah.
people out there.
I'm not. I'm
If
just
there's
yeah.
one thing that Miss Love doesn't like gel with, it's 80-year-olds. You know? Like,
Hey, if you can't handle the facts, that's on you.
So,
But
your essential thesis is that there's no way Kamala is going to win. That's why
there's a
he's
way,
not.
but I'm saying Biden.
I mean, is
that's-
there a pathway, Miss?
That's not. But listen,
What
listen,
is
listen,
the pathway?
listen. That's not the only factor too.
yeah.
I think that Kamala gives off like corporate Democrat vibes, whereas Biden had, even though he was completely losing it, he did have this sort of like, as Jordan was saying, it's all vibe, and her vibe I don't think is going to capture America. She's hugely unpopular already. Biden, even though he was really old, he had charisma. You can like laugh at that and disagree, but I think he did. He was the only one that could hold it up against Trump.
You're saying charisma for the excessive use of the word jack.
Well, I might be, but I see that as charisma, and I just think
And you think
So do I.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Well,
but somebody
we'll come to
coming
you.
from a time where a bad man's his gang name is Corn Pop.
is that
That's a type of charisma.
Biden?
Yeah.
And I think
I saw a clip of Biden from 1974 where he was still old. And I was like, what is going on here?
he was just never
He
young.
had gray hair.
Yeah.
He looked like how George Clooney looks like now.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
slightly less handsome.
But
that's
here's
my
the
take.
key.
That's
Here's
my
the
take.
key. Slightly less.
Slightly less. He wasn't a bad looking guy.
It's very unfortunate about Biden because he always seemed to be the spare that the Democrat Party had. He's the Prince Harry of the Democratic Party. He was, he's just a little less charismatic, a little less charming, a little less handsome than Bill Clinton.
And
Anything?
is Hillary the Meghan Markle?
Oh, for sure, absolutely. No, come on, Kamala Harris.
Oh
is the
my
Meghan
God.
Mar- we got. It's true though. Come on.
Meghan Markle
She is.
becomes the president.
And then Hillary Clinton, who's someone else that's unpopular? No, you know who Hillary Clinton is? Prince Charles's wife.
Oh,
Camilla
Camilla.
Parker Bowles. She's
Camilla.
Camilla Parker Bowles for sure.
Yeah.
All right, okay. Well,
Anyway, that's-
we'll move on to those. Miss, you've explained yourself.
Yeah,
Jordan,
yeah.
initial thoughts. Firstly, tell me, do you think Biden should have stepped down initially, or was this a good move or a bad
Look,
move?
coming from the perspective that I lost $6,000, no, I don't think he should have stepped down.
So
But
much money.
taking that aside,
That's 3 of my
being
cars.
completely objective here. Huh?
And you
That's
have,
3 of
and
my
he has
cars.
one only. It's not that he
That's the
has
price
3
of my
cars.
He
car.
doesn't have 3 cars.
No, that's 3 times the price of my car. That's what you lost. You lost 3 Honda Civics.
You know what? When you put it that way, not that bad. not a bad bet.
Dude, it could have been worse. You know what I was thinking? I was
Sorry,
afraid
sorry.
to ask. I was afraid to ask this man exactly how much money he's bet because I didn't want to know. I thought it would be like in tens.
Oh God.
And
Does
I
that count as intense to you, or
6. I'm ecstatic about 6. I'm ecstatic. I'm like, okay, we can recover from this, guys.
We can recover.
Because
we
I
can.
was saying, Jordan, if you continue this way, you're gonna be like, well, I've put my house on. Will Biden scratch his ass in the first 10 minutes? Yeah, let's go, boys, let's go.
yeah, I'm getting there. I really.
Because I was like,
am.
you're gonna lose everything,
Dude, I'm
before
not
you
I'm a
know.
guy at the horse race.
I'm not surprised you're still gonna. I wouldn't be surprised if you're still gonna bet on Biden. You're
know-
like, he's
you know
Jew.
what?
Still,
He's
yeah,
still Jew.
Yeah.
This
And
is-
in a
Hey,
He's going to an open convention, and he's going to take
and in
the
a
delegate.
miraculous comeback, Biden re-enters the race.
If I tell him that there's 181 to 1 on
He'll
Biden
do it.
after dropping
bet.
out, he'll
He'll
be like,
do
come
it.
on, it's worth a shot.
Yeah, he'll do it. Sorry, I
Okay,
didn't want to interrupt.
okay,
but
leave
yeah.
aside all of your gambling addict
Yeah, yeah.
issues. Should Biden have dropped out? Like, was it time?
No,
Why
I
not?
don't think it was.
It wasn't.
And I know that there's going to be a bunch of snarky comments on YouTube because, like, look, no offense, audience of this one, but you are my most hated audience. by now. No offense. No offense. But you're all just a bunch of sad Reddit addicts. You clearly don't have any friends.
Dude,
and
they
you're
pay our
subjugating us as
bills.
it.
No,
Huh?
wait.
No.
This isn't
They
Patreon.
pay our bills.
See, this is
Hey,
how
I'm
the
not the Honda Civic.
yeah, this is how the economy works. He loses the money, then he gets it back at us, and we lose the money.
You're about to have 0 Honda Civics.
Shit.
No, but they all have those twitchy opinions. This is something that I noticed. Okay, first off, you look at the comments, and anytime we ever talk about why Biden was a good president or why he should have stayed in, the comments at the top are something along the lines of, "Oh my God, I can't believe they said that when he mistook Kamala Harris for Trump. He said Vice President Trump. Clearly you didn't watch his foreign policy talk." Dude, you did. Anyone that said that did exactly what they are accusing me of. They watched the little TikTok clip that was taken out of context by the entire media ecosystem and by Trump's team, flooding it across social media, that he mistook that name and like everyone does, like I do, every single podcast.
Yeah.
This is not this. And then everyone goes like pure, like sign of dementia. There is a difference between being old and having dementia. You should see how many psychologists come out and say it is far more likely psychiatrists say that it's far more likely that Trump has dementia than Joe Biden has dementia. Like way more likely.
Okay. I've got a couple of questions. So there's 2 schools of thought. I'll explain both of them. There's one, the Bernie Sanders, and frankly speaking, mine, and I think yours as well. The school of thought was that we're still 5 months away from the election. Biden has a great economic record to stand on. As we come closer to the election, we'll try to make this election about the record itself, how the economy is doing, what we achieved in the past 5 years, and reasonable Americans will vote for Biden based on that. That was the Bernie Sanders school of thought. And hence, Biden shouldn't drop out. Secondly, something that they weren't saying, but privately were saying, as AOC has recently come out and said that if you take down Biden, you're going to have a leadership vacuum, and it's not going to produce more stability. It's going to create chaos because everyone's going to fight because everyone wants to be the president. There's no hidden secret. Anyway, so there's that one school of thought.
And something else.
What?
The Republicans, even though it's a bullshit legal argument, they can challenge the fact that it is a different ticket
Yeah.
in courts.
That's
Now, everyone always says, yeah, but they don't have grounds. It doesn't matter that they don't have grounds. They have enough grounds to take it to court.
Okay, well,
and that
we'll-
causes all sorts
We'll
of
come to all
problems.
those nitty-gritties, but explain to me. So that's one point of view. The second point of view was you're living in a fairy world. If you think you can make this election about Biden's economic performance, you're mistaken. Till the last till the last day, this election is going to be about how senile Biden is, how he's too old for presidency. There is going to be nothing else on media that will get oxygen aside from that. And so, like, if he doesn't drop out, this is going to continue for the next 5 months, and Biden's going to lose. So where do you stand on those 2 points of view?
Yeah, obviously the media is going to say nothing except Joe Biden's old until the very end. And you know why that is, Ali? Because he was a good president.
No, but like I'm
That
talking about
is the
media that also
Boom.
likes the Democrats. I'm not just talking about Fox News.
Yeah, but I'm saying that the reason that Joe Biden stepped out is not because he couldn't win the election. It's not because he didn't have support.
No, he just got
For the
bullied.
first time in my life, I've sat there and I've watched the 24-hour news cycle in America, and I do feel sorry for American commentators for having to deal with that because it is the dumbest, mind-numbing exercise you could ever imagine. It's the same phrase from sun up to sundown, over and over again. It's incredible. It's such a well-oiled propaganda machine with the same dumb points and different talking heads saying it. And the reason that they're all saying it is because the donors of the Democratic Party wanted Joe Biden out. And I honestly think they wanted Joe Biden out because, like he was saying in his platform, I did all these things to stabilize the economy, build it up for the future. They're all fine with that. They're fine with the CHIPS Act. That's great for them. They're fine with the infrastructure bill. That's all well and good. But then he was saying that his big overhaul in his next term is going to be tax. And they didn't like that. And so you had CNN, you had the Dems realizing, okay, he's weak. The Republicans have spent 4 years just saying he's old, he's old, he's old, he's old. We'll just use that frame. We'll just say he's too old. He has to step down. Look, he had that bad debate performance. Look, I'm telling you now, if the donor class of the Democrats wanted him in, he would still be in to this day.
Well, that's essentially, apparently from news reports, the thing that actually did it for Biden was one of his closest aides, someone that has been working with him, going to see him while he's in isolation and saying that some event where they were supposed to drive up donations has become dry. So he was telling Biden the money isn't coming in. And like apparently Biden, sick, COVID, hearing that, he was like, fuck it. All right.
Shit. I
I'm
feel
out.
bad for him.
Exactly. But look at everyone who stood by him. Look at everyone who stood by him in the Democrats. You had Black Congress, you had the Latinos, you had the trade unions,
Bernie.
and you had all of
Progressives,
the Bernie Sanders
all
wing.
progressives.
All the progressives wanted Biden in. Think
They
about
hate
this.
us. They hate progressive. They're always talking about progressives creating an issue for Hillary. They always talked about progressives creating issue for Biden. And then at this point, when it came to it, the progressives were like, look, if you've invested it, Trump's coming in, we have to keep Biden. And it was these liberals that decided, no, because George Clooney said so, we've got to get rid of him and bring
Exactly.
someone
What
that
does
has
that tell you?
worse-
It tells you that you've been brainwashed. All these people that say, he's too old to win. You would not be saying that. Like, this is a talking point of the press. They tried, as someone was explaining this, the Republicans spent $1 billion on the idea that Joe Biden's corrupt. So they thought, we're just going to run the same thing that we did with Hillary Clinton, that she's crooked, she's corrupt. That's what lost her the election. We'll do the same thing with Joe Biden. That didn't work. The American public didn't think he was corrupt. That image, no matter how
Because
much
let's be real, Joe
Biden
Biden is not corrupt. I mean, look, you could say a lot of things about Joe Biden, but corruption necessarily isn't one of them.
Yeah.
No, he's an old-timey politician. That's why
Who isn't even that rich, by the way.
Huh?
Compared to like the Pelosi's and stuff, isn't even that
course.
rich. He's been in the public eye for the last 60 years. He's been in positions of power. He should have been close to $1 billion.
That's why I liked him. This is what I was saying to Mislav. He was an old-school politician from like the golden age of America, like where like public servants caught the train to Congress
Yes.
because it was a good system.
Yeah.
Damn it. Like setting an example. You know, like he was that type of person. That was like that's why he pushed through all of these initiatives because he was old school. It was like what Bernie Sanders used to advertise himself as, which is just like I'm an old school Democrat. That
He
was
still
what
does,
Biden
dude.
was.
He's older than all of them, but he's still crisp and he's still saying exactly the same thing. And he was supporting Biden the day before Biden. Like literally everyone had stopped.
Yeah.
Like, you know, those, even the Buttigieg, the people in his campaign were starting saying things like, well, whoever the nominee is,
Yes.
not like Biden.
Yeah.
But Bernie Sanders were still going at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're still saying, no, Biden is our guy.
Yeah.
We need to beat Trump.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But it wasn't because of that. The reason that they were supporting him is because of his track record. It is absolutely safe to say, and it is the same thing that look. I'm betting this now. This is my new $6,000 bet. the history books will be very kind to him like they were with Jimmy Carter. And at the time, everybody with Jimmy Carter was a joke. Jimmy Carter has to go. His own party ran against him. Same thing that they did to Biden. Why? Because Jimmy Carter actually stood up for everyday Americans. That's the reason that he needed to go out. And so you had that same dynamic happening in the Democrat Party where they started going just like, oh, fuck it, it's better to have Reagan in. That is the same dynamic that was happening here. Look, here's his record. This is insane. Nearly 16 million jobs. You know how many jobs that is? That's more jobs than the last 3 Republican presidents combined.
It's a lot of Taco Bell.
That's a lot of work. That's a lot of Taco Bells opening up.
Yeah.
You got it right.
Yeah, fucking oath.
Some of the best inflation figures in the world. You know, honestly, I was looking into the CHIPS Act. It is not hyperbole to say that this is going to be remembered like
Well, that obviously goes hand in.
Eisenhower's like highway policy. It'll be remembered like the Lyndon Johnson's. I can't remember what it was called. It wasn't as grand as the Grand New Deal, but it was very similar to this. These are things that will set
Inflation
it up forever.
Reduction Act.
No, this is the CHIPS Act. The CHIPS Act was just like, we're setting up manufacturing in America for the 21st century.
Well,
that is going to be remembered. That is going to set America on track for the next century.
Even
that one policy.
A record amount of investment in infrastructure, a record amount of investment in the covert Green New Deal, even though like Green New
They
Deal
called
is
it
not
like
a thing.
the Fighting China.
No, they call it
Act,
Inflation Reduction Act. They call
Yeah.
literally the covert Green New Deal as Inflation Reduction Act.
Yep.
Which was genius.
I mean,
from
the
a marketing point of
CHIPS
view.
Act obviously goes hand in hand with the Taco Bell Act. With
Yes,
the
yes,
corn chips. Yeah.
yes.
Corn Chips Act.
Time that the American got its worth for its $2.99 mega combo.
Okay, well,
I
look,
get how economics works.
So that's gone.
But that's why they were
unfortunately.
supporting him.
Yeah.
Let's move on from
But
that.
anyway, sorry, my thing is, the reason that I liked Biden was that he was this nice compromise candidate between those two factions. And as a result, which was his entire, the reason that he has been such a successful politician over those last 50 years is he was able to do something, and no one gives him credit for this, that is actually a very skilled political thing. There is a reason that Black Congress was behind him. There's a reason that the Latinos were behind him, the trade unions, and up until very recently, the donor class. And it's because that man creates coalitions. That's what a successful politician does.
You do have to give him credit. Like somehow he was able to keep the progressive Bernie Sanders Union side of the faction happy, as well as the mortars that almost leaning on Republican happy. It's a really
It's
difficult
a
job
tough
to do.
act. Who else can do it? I'm telling you now, Kamala won't.
Well, okay. So now, second point. What's your views on Kamala? Well, do you think she has a viable shot?
Yeah, look, I think that, as I was saying before, unless you have one of these, once in a generation, very unbelievably charismatic characters like your Obamas or, to a degree, Trump, Kennedy or something like that, I stand by, especially in this day and age, I don't think that the personality of a politician really matters. I think it's the campaign machine that matters. And I think that the Democrats have sewn up the glaring holes that they had in their campaign machine since Hillary Clinton, as is proven by 2022. And I think that they are always behind in the polls now. And the reason they're behind in the polls is because they call up old people in Maine and then say, oh, what do you know? Old people that are corn farmers vote Republican.
I don't understand. First of all, I somewhat disagree with you. I don't want to get into the thing, but I think personality almost matters a lot more than campaigning now.
Yeah, I
And
think
why
so.
is that?
Because I honestly don't think no matter how many times you go to Maine is going to change the view. What changes
No, that's not
people's perception is your personality.
No, yes, no, but what I'm talking about with the campaigning machine, what I'm talking about is being able to deliver effective messages, which is something that the Democrats has overhauled, and they've just copied the Republican playbook verbatim, which is just say really simple, really negative things. But the Democrats' messages are just so much realer because the Republicans are psychos.
Okay,
So
well,
they
let's
can
talk
do
about
that. But anyway.
messaging. Immediately as Biden announces, it was clearly a clip that was prepared before this happened. I think Harris's staff might have prepared this clip in anticipation if Biden drops out. So the clip, I don't know if you've seen it, but it was immediately aired on American television and obviously on YouTube. It's Kamala Harris. The point of that clip is She is a public prosecutor. He is a convicted felon. If you don't like Trump, the antithesis to Trump is Harris 2024. And it's just like, so what do you think about this messaging?
The prosecutor versus the felon.
Prosecutor versus the felon.
I think this was just because I was watching the cycle from CNN to MSNBC. This is something that I think Al Sharpton extemporaneously said, and then everyone said, yeah, that's our angle. We'll go with that.
No, that was an angle that I think the Harris campaign had. She updated literally everyone on news.
Oh, okay. So
Because
they were
the clip
regurgitating
came-
that because of that. Okay.
The clip came really, really quickly. So it was prepared before.
Yep.
And it was exactly the messaging that Rachel Maddow, MSNBC,
Yes.
right after adopted. So it's clearly Harris's campaign's angle. I don't think that angle works. I think so. First of all, if you changed Biden because you think he isn't as popular, good luck going for the one person whose approval rating was lower than a senile man, and that was Kamala Harris. While Biden was trailing Trump by 2 points, 3 points, 4 points, whatever it might be,
Kamala was right there with him.
Harris was right there with him or lower.
And then they just highlight a few polls where they go, this was incredible. This is why we need to change, guys. This is why we need to change. Look, Joe Biden's at 45%. Kamala Harris is at 46%. That's why we need to change. How long do you think that's going to last as soon as the Republican machine changes over to hitting Kamala as opposed to Joe Biden? Do you think that that's going to last? Of course it won't. This is like a statistical anomaly anyway. And I think that, like, yeah, as you were saying there with, like, the whole, like, do these angles work or not? This is why I don't think that it has much to do with, like, the personality. These low approval ratings where they're saying it's historically low, why is that? It is because these machines are so precise now with, like, analytics that they can just hit exactly the people that they need to hit with the exact messaging that works for them. So no politician ever is going to be popular anymore. You just have to accept that. Like, everyone's just hating
Jordan,
more.
there's also like another thing,
Jesus.
which is like there's another thing that a lot
crazy.
of people don't realize and always discount when it comes to polls, messaging, focus groups. People that respond to that are just like they're radicalized in their own way. They're constantly thinking about this. Most people that vote on election day are least bothered, which is why the polls are often wrong, because there's a silent majority that goes in and does exactly what it wants to do, that never had the time to respond to your stupid polls.
Yes.
So we still really don't know what the eventual results going to be. But what we also don't know is whether Harris will be the nominee. So the process of being a nominee works. Now, Biden's delegates that he had are free to choose whoever they want. The bigwigs of the Democratic Party, which includes Biden and a lot of the other ones, are saying support Kamala Harris. That doesn't mean that the delegates will. The delegates may choose to support someone else, but all of that is pinned on some other person saying that they want to compete with Harris. And if that happens, then it's an open convention. There's no other way around it.
Yep.
Here's the interesting aspect about it, which is why it's not a done deal. Pretty much every big Democrat has come out and has supported Harris and has endorsed Harris. But there's two very key Democrats that haven't done it. Nancy Pelosi hasn't done it. In fact, Nancy Pelosi has said that an open convention is the best way to go, and Barack Obama hasn't said it. Clearly, these two figures don't necessarily want Kamala Harris. I don't know why. Maybe they think she won't win.
Because they're representatives of the donor class. That's why.
I think donor class is actually, a lot of the donor class, because it's not a monolith, a lot of donor class is supporting Harris. They're saying that the dollars are flooding in now, ever since Biden dropped out.
Oh, I'm sure they are. It's like a little, like, good job. You did exactly what we wanted you to. That's fine. But as AOC and Bernie Sanders were saying, behind closed doors, a lot of people were saying this, like, yes, we're going to push Kamala Harris forward. And I still think that that's probably likely what's going to happen. But all of these Democrats, and it is amazing, they were saying their argument every time for why they should get rid of Biden behind closed doors is always, my donor's angry at me. My donor wants him to step down. That's why I voted against Joe Biden.
Because the donors have been bullied by mainstream media. I know this will
they're
always remain an
they're the ones
academic
that are
debate.
controlling the mainstream media narrative. They're the ones.
I know
doing
this will always remain an academic debate because we'll never be able to prove it. Exactly how I said that in 2016, Bernie v. Trump, Bernie would have won, but we could never find out. And I think similarly, Biden v. Trump even an Alzheimer Biden would have still won against Trump. But we'll never find out.
And now, if we're talking about the vibe, I think that this is what Miss Love was pointing out on. Biden has the vibe, and the reason that the corruption angle didn't work, he has the vibe of integrity. So you can sit there and you can listen to all of the propaganda that you like about, whatever. He's too old. He's done. Hunter Biden secretly controls him. Whatever, right? At the end of the day, you look at that man and you think there's a man with solid convictions. You don't get that vibe off of Kamala Harris. You know why? Exactly the frame that they're trying to sell her as now, which is that she's a lawyer.
Because she doesn't have
Lawyers-
conviction. She
doesn't
actually
have-
doesn't.
She's paid to make arguments. That's what lawyers do.
Yeah.
And
it's
you can really-
obvious.
you can really tell-
That's the vibe of her.
You can really tell
I'm paid
from
to make this argument. I'll make this argument.
from her 2020 election campaign. For those of you who remember, Kamala Harris wanted to be the president. She went from being a tough on crime prosecutor that used to be like no nonsense, leaning almost towards conservatism to a certain extent when it came to that sort of stuff. 2020 progressive win, decides to endorse the Green New Deal, takes on all of this other super progressive stuff. And now I actually don't know what she genuinely believes in. It could be either of those.
I don't think she believes in much. I think that as a lawyer, you don't. There are lawyers that go on their little environmental crusades, but they're usually, as is a great podcast law story here. My Korean friend once, when she was studying law in Korea, everyone was going around the room saying like, I want to be corporate lawyer, corporate lawyer, corporate lawyer. And then she says, I want to be an environmental lawyer. And then everyone looks at her. And then a guy at the end of the table slams his fist on the table and goes, that is loser job. You know?
Why did the news cover that?
I think Kamala Harris would have been sitting in that room being like, damn right it is. Absolutely would have.
And
Where
Clinton
you
as
think
well.
good lawyers come out from the
And
coconut tree?
Hillary Clinton as well. She's right.
I think that
I mean, she's
in
a lawyer.
retrospect, I think this is the whole reason that I'm very angry about all of this, because I remember Ali had this conversation with us during 2016. We were sitting there and we were lapping up the media messaging.
Right.
She's crooked, she's corrupt, whatever, right? And so we were just like, I don't think that she'd be a good president. And then Ali was the one saying, guys, it's about the machine that you're voting. It has nothing to do with this person anyway. He had to bring us back to that.
That
point
wasn't going to convince
back
me then, though. I was like, make shit up, and that wasn't going to happen. But I understand the principle.
But honestly, I think that Hillary Clinton, you got to say, when she was first lady, she was the one pushing for Medicare.
Apparently, yeah. I didn't even know that.
Well, not only that, dude. I've seen Hillary.
So I think Hillary Clinton, in retrospect,
Probably,
generally, if you're going to go on the vibe thing, she doesn't give off good vibes like her husband does. That's pretty much it.
she does.
And it's the same thing with Kamala. And honestly, again, it's not one of these like woman things, right? Because look, if you wanted a woman of color, I know that Tulsi Gabbard like is a turncoat or whatever, but she gives off the vibe of like, former soldier, surfs a lot. It's hot,
Yeah, but now she's also Fox News lackey.
I know.
Tulsi went a bit hard
Her
to the other side.
the vibe is right.
The one thing that I wanted to bring up with you is like, okay, imagine you are a bigwig in the Democratic Party, right? And you think that you could be the next president better than Kamala Harris. Let's say you're Gavin Newsom, Pete Buttigieg, Amy Klobuchar, any one of those people. The incentive for you to come out and challenge Kamala is basically none. On one hand, you do it and you lose. Kamala ends up running the election and she loses. The Democratic Party is going to blame you, saying that you exposed her to a certain extent that she became kryptonite for the general election. There's that one aspect. There's second aspect that you do it. You end up becoming the nominee. You beat Kamala Harris. But then because of such uncertainty, there's no way you will in general elections. So you're like, why should I do that? I'll wait for 2028. Then the third one is, if you don't worry about any of those, like if you end up becoming a rival to Kamala, there's no way you can get on the VP ticket anymore. There's just so many incentives for you not to go against Kamala.
And there's also the other big incentive of you don't want to have an open convention where it looks like the Democrats are divided and fighting each other.
I reckon, dude, that's
don't
the
want
only
that.
way. Because let's be real, the Democrats are divided and fighting each other.
Yeah, but you don't want to keep that image going for the next few
Too late.
months.
You have to have an open. This is my view. You have to have an open convention now. It's going to be messy, but may the best person emerge. And if Kamala is able to convince all of the delegates, all the super delegates, everyone that she's the best choice, then fine. Either way, man, I think like now that Biden is gone, there is very little chance that the Democrats will win this election.
Yeah, well, look,
Yeah.
I'm not in the same camp as you that I think that there's little chance they're going to win the election. I still think that the messaging will work, but I think that the chances of them winning the election have reduced. I think that this was a very bad... What do you think, Miss?
Totally.
So what do you think that they're going to lose, or do you think that it's like a worse chance of them winning, or what do you...
I think both. I think that like in best case scenario, they have a worse chance of winning, but I think unfortunately what will happen is they will lose. That's what I think.
And it's
That's just
and the reason for that is Kamala doesn't
like
kill, or what?
I mean, everything you said, the fact that they're all infighting now, if they have like the delegate thing, and it's like it's just it's not a good it's not a unified side. I thought Biden would have way more chance. I think that she's got problems like how she presents herself, all of that kind of stuff. There's like so many more reasons now why they would lose as opposed to Biden, which is like he's old.
And she has she has the opposite issue of Biden. Biden was shit at reading scripts and like if you tell him what to say, but he was great off the cuff.
Yeah.
She is horrible off the cuff.
Yeah, and
she's very good at like if you give her exactly
you give her
what
that.
to say.
I'll give her that.
Yeah,
too.
but
she
versus-
is good at delivering a speech.
Yeah,
She
but
is good at that,
versing
but she's
Trump-
horrible. Every time it goes a little bit out of syllabus, she goes insane.
Yeah.
But
She can't
versing
handle it.
Trump, you want someone that's good off the cuff. Hillary was not good off the cuff. That's why he demolished her in the debates.
Yep.
So I think that'll just happen again.
So do I.
I think she'll be better than Hillary in terms of she's been familiar with Trump for so long. She might be like, she might have to start going to bars and start talking to people because that's the only way you can.
Yeah, but she's
talk
gonna make it
to
really
Trump.
awkward. Have you seen her?
But that's what I'm
She's
saying.
social.
But that's what I'm saying. That's the
She's
problem.
just like
That's the
she-
problem.
she
Like
says
Trump
weird
is
shit.
just like at the end of the day, Trump is still just like this like dude from Queens that likes to like riff, and that's not easy. You can't train debating someone like that.
No.
You know, it's
I
really
reckon
hard.
she the only way for her, and if she was smart, she'd do exactly the opposite of what everyone's asking her to do, which is make it about Trump, how he's a liar, convicted felon, all of that shit. Just stick to your policy. You can defend the Biden-Harris legacy. Try to keep the election about your achievement compared to his achievements in 2016, 2020. That is your only bet. If you try to like tell people that Trump is a bad man, you're going to lose.
I don't know. I'm really
don't know.
convinced of the strategy of talk about abortion heaps, talk about
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fact
yeah.
that
Abortion
fascism
helps.
is
Yeah.
taking over.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
America.
Well, yeah.
That's how you do it.
I suppose.
Abortion helps because like the problem is like when you're trying to say the other person is bad, I'm a good person, you're essentially asking for it to be a popularity contest. Don't support him, support me. I'm better, or because of my character, or whatever. You cannot win against Trump in a popularity contest.
Exactly. Yes. Don't talk about... Okay. All right. I agree with that. Don't talk about the fact that Trump's a felon and whatever. I really don't think that helps that much.
Say his
You can
economic
talk about
performance
January
is shit.
6th. You can talk about January 6th. I think that helps.
You can talk about January 6th. You can definitely talk about abortion because that genuinely is something. Abortion is also an issue.
And then the other thing is, this is the other reason that I think the Democrats still have a really good chance. It's the Project 2025.
Yeah, that thing
that
is
going
that
to
is
really
yeah,
sell.
definitely.
All right,
That's a
okay,
big
so
one.
let's talk about that. Project 2025. Are you afraid? Which
Which some of the policies?
Let's start with which ones you're not afraid of. You're keen on.
Well, he's very keen on 3/4 of it, which is mostly just about insane rantings about Christian nationalism. Just very much like that.
No, the sensible immigration ideas, etc. But the stuff that's I haven't looked extensively, but the stuff that's scary is like installing like Trump lackeys to replace bureaucrats is pretty scary, and just being like, and of course, if anyone disagrees with Trump, they're fired. It's like that's kind of crazy, dude.
Look, I'm not like just on that, because like I'm gonna push back on that just a little bit. Not because you said anything wrong, because
Sure.
I'm literally on the same side as you until very recently when I sort of looked into it. So the whole thing, apparently, this whole immigrant stuff and Mexican border is the greatest story ever told.
It's not true.
It's not necessarily as true as people think. Firstly, again, this is not my own research. I watched John Oliver, okay? John Oliver did a deep dive on
yeah.
that.
Okay, all right.
Thank God we got sources.
So,
That's what we have on
I'm
this
telling
podcast.
you
Play of a
beforehand,
John Oliver episode.
these are my references. But he's saying, first of all, that like the only state that does
Where's your vape? I need a vape after that comment.
where's
right here, buddy.
Jesus Christ.
let me say it. I'm like, and that's why I said it was from John Oliver. I straight up said it. Firstly, he says that there's only one state in all of US that does statistics on crime based on immigration. And the conclusion for those reports are that if you are an immigrant, a first generation immigrant, as in like you yourself came, you are 45% less likely to commit a crime compared to someone that was native born. Then he starts looking at
That
all of
5%. Go on.
Then he starts looking at all of these instances where certain immigrants, I'm going to put them in air quotes now, immigrants who have had an altercation with the police, blah, blah, blah. And when you look at it, in almost every instance, they were Latinos, they were Mexicans, but they were like born in the U.S. And their parents were born in the U.S. So like they weren't immigrants themselves. Thirdly, he says that Biden
I
has
hear
been-
what you're saying. Stop all immigration permanently. I hear you. Go on.
And thirdly, he says that Biden is super harsh on immigration. Like he is deporting people left, right, and center.
I think that's more lately, though, as in a response.
I mean, yeah, but like in the last 2 years or so
right,
is
yeah,
the judgment. And lastly,
Yeah, again, like-
lastly, I have to say this. I watched the ABC doco on Trump. One of Trump's staff, he literally says this. If you haven't seen it, it's worth watching. He's pissed off at this is Trump while he's in power. He's pissed off that there's still people coming through the wall or coming into the U.S. So he calls up his guy who's in charge of whatever, Homeland Security or Border Control, and he says, why don't you dig up a trench
Yeah, I heard
all
that.
along,
And put like crocodiles in it.
all
and shit.
along the border of the U.S., put crocodiles
Moats.
Yeah.
and
Moats.
sharks or something
Roman.
And sharks.
in it as a disincentive.
How is he going to do that? What do the Simpsons thing of like when he gets pinchy and puts it in the goldfish bowl and half of it's salt and half of it's fresh water?
As a disincentive that if you fall trying to climb over the wall, you're going to get eaten by crocodiles. And this guy had to sit
It's
there.
a 5-year-old's idea.
Wait,
so expensive.
Going to, like, no, it's not even expensive. It's impossible. First of all, how big that? How many crocodiles? Would you, also, how do you create a habitat for them that they continue to exist and not just starve while they're waiting for some Mexican dude to fall into the pit? It's just insane. But it works for the story. So the whole immigration or the Mexican border stuff. I mean, there's obviously illegal immigration all the time. It's most countries that are not like, have ocean all around them like us. But even with us, it's still a problem. But there's a bit of exaggeration as
Sure.
to how big the problem is.
I'm sure. I know the Republicans are using it as. I know that there was some reform that Biden was introducing to fix the problem, and the Republicans rejected it because the optics, which shows that
Trump has gone on record because Biden essentially wanted to do exactly what the Republicans were saying, and the Republican said like, yeah, let's do this. And Trump told Republicans, don't do that. You're gonna get a massive propaganda.
That's
angle.
what I'm saying. Yeah. So that's
Just so everyone knows, the LNP in Queensland are doing exactly the same thing on crime when it comes to the Labor Party. This is what they do. This is how bad these parties are. The thing that they're running on, they deliberately keep alive as a problem. So
Really?
that they can keep complaining about the problem.
Really?
Yes.
Shit.
This is a standard playbook of conservative parties worldwide. That is every reason why they are just scum of the earth, completely deplorable human beings. Because there is no one in that party anymore, especially when it comes to the Republicans. I was talking about this with the convention with Ali. Isn't it amazing that like former nominees like Mitt Romney are basically scum of the earth? They hate him as much as Joe Biden. Normal Republicans that used to do consensus-y things. Like, if you went to, I can guarantee you this, If you went to Mitt Romney with that Border Patrol plan, he would have said, yep, and signed it. For sure he would have.
Which one? What plan?
Romney.
This is-
Remember,
this
this is the anti-immigration plan.
Oh,
that they
yeah,
tried
he
to
would
put
have.
in.
Yeah,
He would have done
yeah,
it.
yeah.
He would have done it. But that type of Republican doesn't exist anymore. That type of Republican is as much of an enemy to the modern Republican Party as the Democrats are. They weren't invited. They're not even there. Like, MSNBC's there. You know, they're
Yeah.
allowed to be
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
George W. Bush isn't.
Dude, Kevin
Isn't that
Rudd.
insane?
Kevin Rudd was
Two-time
there too.
president. And they're just like, get out of here, you damn pinko commie. You know? He's a commie to these people.
Kevin Rudd was there, which is really funny. too.
What?
Yeah,
Trying
yeah,
to do
yeah.
damage control so hard.
What?
Because he's been shitting on Trump and he's the ambassador and now he sees the writing on the wall. So he went to the convention and was just like, everybody, Trump's not that bad.
Fucking hell.
Everyone in the world
Chris
needs
Rock
to
wasn't
chill
that
out.
cringe, guys.
You mean
I don't know.
Kid Rock. But the reason that they don't ask the old Republicans is not because they think they're commies. It's just their angle of like, it's like Alex Jones's point. They're like globalist warmongers that want to. They're not populists.
That's like a
They want to-
propaganda
They
point. Dude.
say
They
that.
are themselves are globalist warmongers to the core.
I mean, I don't know if Trump was.
Maybe not Trump, but you know the people around him.
Probably. I mean,
definitely
I'm
are
not
warmongers.
smart enough to understand how all these factions and their plans and
No,
everything.
It's because like the Republican Party has it's completely image based now.
Yeah,
it doesn't
yeah,
have
yeah.
policies.
Well,
This
that-
is what we were talking
yeah.
about when Trump was in office last time. And if you just look at him from an administrative ability to manage things, Ali was pointing out this that like, dude, when Trump was like head of all these businesses, he was never on any of these boards.
No, he was on the board, but he was never elected
yeah,
as
he-
like the president of the
Like,
board.
yeah, he's not like in the executive. You know what I
What do
mean?
what do you
Like, he's on
mean?
the
Like
board,
you mean like
huh?
the Taj Mahal?
No,
or
no,
some
no.
shit?
You know, like how companies have board of directors and stuff.
Yeah, but what companies are we talking about?
Like shit, like different companies, like corporations.
Yeah, but I thought he was only involved with stuff, Trump
No, but like
connected to him.
Trump might have shares in a different
Oh,
company.
shares,
And
yeah.
so like there's board of directors
Right,
and then
right.
there's voting as to elect who that.
Right.
So I was watching this professor talk about like how Trump was the least experienced president of all time. He said not only did he not have any public office job, he was never even elected as the president of a private
Oh,
board,
right.
which is ridiculous considering he's a big businessman.
yeah.
And so pretty much his first real job ever
was president.
was president of the United States.
Fuck.
So like, dude,
Yeah.
that's why he just gets on the phone. It's like, can you just like build a big moat and put crux in
Yeah.
there, let your crux.
Yeah.
He has no idea. Like he doesn't know how to manage things at all.
Yeah,
and that's
I
why
know,
it was
yeah.
so bad the first time. We were kind of lucky in how, in a way, he was a very good Republican president because he was just so incompetent that he couldn't put forward the Republican agenda properly.
Right.
But this is why Project 2025 is that.
Yeah.
Project 2025 really should just be called Standard Republican Playbook.
Right.
And because it has a scary name, all of a sudden everyone's like, oh my God, I didn't know when a president comes in, they change the administration of a government. You know? Like,
True.
Trump is going to appoint all of his own people into government.
Yeah.
Can you believe that? First time in history.
Yeah.
So I think that is very good. They're going to run on that. But I think that really the Democrats used to run this whole thing of countering the facts and saying, no, that's not true. But no one listens to the no, that's not true part. All they're looking for is the mad slams and the mad owns. And now they've just completely changed their messaging to, I don't know, for instance, if they say they're radicalizing our children and turning them all into transsexuals or something like that, and they just say like, oh, you want to talk about like bad children outcomes, you let war machines come into schools.
Yeah.
And shoot up like 50 kids at a time.
Yeah.
That's your policy, you know?
Yeah,
And so
yeah.
you've immediately just flipped it. And so they've just figured out, oh, okay, this is the new playing field. You can't talk about accomplishments anymore. I know this from being on YouTube for 10 years, right? Anytime I ever say the Labor Party's done something good, everyone just goes, shill, you're a shill. And then if I say the Labor Party's done something good, and the media didn't report that they said something good, everyone's like, I knew it, the media hiding things from the so, but it's the same thing. You just have to make everything negative as fuck.
Jesus.
Everyone's out to get you. It's a horrible thing. Like, look, I blame you, the viewers. Like I do. It's just it's just terrible. Everyone out
Stop
there
it.
sucks.
I need
They are.
rent
This
money.
is the public are scum. They are. They're just shitty people. And like the only thing that I don't like
we
about
love
Joe
you.
Biden is he used to sit there and say the good, hard-working Americans. There's no hard-working Americans. They're all fat as fuck, and they're all just sitting around in fucking
I
Florida
love
going
ya.
to Disney World, buying oversized donuts.
You're too
Idiots.
good to be true.
And I
Can't lay my eyes off you. Don't listen to this gambling
and I
addict.
directly blame you, the viewer.
No, that's what he said.
No, it's just a good. It's The Simpsons. It's just a funny.
Okay. One last
No one
question.
says that. Not enough people blame the viewer. I like
They're
it.
just scummy, and like all they think, they just think that
Yeah,
like
not
they're all
do you,
above
do,
it. And
do you ever
everyone's out
think
to
why
get them.
not enough people blame the viewer?
Yeah,
Have you ever
exactly,
considered?
exactly.
Oh, I wonder why that is.
Nah, but
That's
come
why,
on.
like, I'm sick of the viewer always getting pampered. It's
Nah,
just like,
but-
you're right. You're so right. Yes, everyone is out to get specifically you, Tommy Maine. You know, yeah, that's what everyone's thinking
No,
about.
they'll like it, Ali. It's the whole like, give us hell, Quimby.
Okay, one
They're not doing
more
exactly what Tommy Maine wants.
one more question, Jordan. If and Miss
It's
for you
I
too.
think his perspective is refreshing, personally.
Okay, you are not a fan. Okay, question. If not Harris, then who?
Oh, if it's not Harris,
If not Harris,
look,
then who?
ideally it would be that Gretchen,
Chris
whatever
Christie.
her name is.
Gretchen.
Yeah, I can't even remember. I think she's like the governor of Michigan or something.
Oh yeah.
Gretchen
yeah, yeah.
Whitaker, I think her name is.
But what about the RoboCop villain?
Yeah, and RoboCop villain, Gavin Newsom.
Gavin Newsom.
RoboCop villain is, as we were saying before, that is just like standard American president 101 bar.
He's kind of like, yeah, it is. It's kind of like, yeah, corporate 101 bot American.
But he's mad at slamming. He is very good at this counter. He's one of those new Democrats that did this. Look, Ali, this is what I'm talking about. In the 2022 elections, there was this riff and divide of how they're going to run it because they thought that they were just going to lose outright in the 2022 elections. They thought the red wave was coming, whatever, we'll try this new strategy, which was pretty much just copying what the Republicans do, which is just negative constantly all the time. They're coming for your children, right? The states that ran the negative all the time, he's coming for your children, all the Democrats won that. All the Democrats that run the standard thing of like, I'm a moderate Democrat, I go across the aisle, I make deals, I've gotten this new bridge built in Idaho.
Biden.
They all lost. They all lost.
Really?
But this is the thing. Biden and the Harris campaign did pick up on that and they started doing it. They started doing the whole, they're fascists coming in with the goose step. They did that.
Yeah. Autocrat.
I've got to look at the research. I wonder how much that works. Because I know fear
I know
works.
it works from experience. It's just like, dude, whenever you give a fearful message, twice the amount of neural receptors in your brain light up. You're like, you know? And then every time you just say, like, I've done something really good for you and I spent my entire life working in the public service, it was like,
Boring.
I wasn't there the whole time, so you're lying. Like, that's what happens.
Well, I've got a my new slogan is I'm with
Chris Christie.
Chris Christie
Can I
for
say-
the Democratic
can I say-
nominee.
can I take the
Hell
name?
yeah. Your words, Ali.
I'm with-
All right.
you're with Chris,
and you
eh?
think I'm a psycho for betting on Biden.
Can I take that
Ali's with Chris.
before I say it? Can I take the nickname that I've given?
Fat Chris. P-H-A-T Chris.
I'm with Pete
Everybody
Buttigieg.
hates Chris. Huh?
Pete Buttigieg. Is he the gay dude?
Yeah, gay
Yeah.
Pete.
So what-
I'm with gay
I was
Pete.
just thinking, dude, he's just
He's
a
good.
budget gay Obama.
Man, I think he's got it. He's got what it takes. The young man.
Why?
He's a millennial. He is. First of all, he's like kind of more progressive. One, I like that about him. Secondly, he is great off the cuff. He can handle any kind of question. He does seem a little bit like I'm more intelligent than you attitude, but he probably is, bro.
So that's not a good thing.
Or he
You're talking to an audience
He's
that
handsome.
are dumb but think they're geniuses.
He's
It's
a
not good
gay-
to say I'm smarter than you.
he's a gay white man, and that works really well. He's a gay white man in the post-modern family era. I think he has a good shot to winning.
He just didn't do that well in the primaries, man.
Yeah, because like
You don't
Biden
think,
was
honestly,
against
you
him.
don't think, I think it's the government.
Bernie Sanders was against him. You're talking about those primaries, right? Which primaries are you talking
Yeah.
about? Yeah, he had like tough competition, and he held his own. Dude, he was scaring me as a Bernie supporter. I remember watching Pete Buttigieg, and I'm like, this guy, he's scaring me. He's too
What?
good.
Oh shit.
He's too good.
Yeah, I thought he gave me like Obama energy.
Could Bernie run again? I know he's
Yeah,
independent.
that's what I'm saying though. He gives you Obama energy, but not enough. He's just a shit Obama.
Well, because he's always gonna be like the second Obama.
exactly.
Like, dude,
Cheap Obama.
I think a fourth Obama can win against Trump. Like, I really don't think that that's
Yeah.
a bad thing.
Yeah, that's
If
true.
Obama
But
comes
that's
in
the
now,
thing,
he
like,
fucking
okay, like,
sweeps.
Look, Obama does have that charisma X factor that we're all pretending that these other nominees have. All these other nominees don't. The only one that's close is Gavin Newsom.
Okay,
He does
okay.
have a bit of that.
One more. What
But
about
he looks really evil.
Elizabeth
I
Warren?
like that.
What about Elizabeth Warren? I know she's not even in the running or anything.
Not a chance.
I
Not
don't-
happening.
I don't-
How come everyone that I like is like useless, huh?
Not everyone. I was the one that actually is the most useless I like.
Which one?
Amy Klobuchar.
Amy. Well, that was your choice, anyways. But I was.
That was yours, and then you
No,
convinced
you
me
were
I was
like,
a dickhead.
you were like, she reminds me of a wholesome mom. I think she should be the president.
yeah, well,
Delegate, Mr. President, your time is up. I'm the delegator here.
Also, like a president from Minnesota may as well be a Canadian.
that's very true. That's so accurate. There's a lot of
Is Bernie?
decent ice.
Bernie's in.
Minnesota, isn't
Too much. I saw Fargo. It's like, what's that about, eh?
They even speak like Canadian.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Bernie's an independent, right?
No, he's Democrat.
Yeah, I mean, yes, but no.
Could he run again?
He could if we went to an open convention, but I think that he knows.
No, he's too old for it.
I don't even think it's the too old thing.
He's
I
sharp,
think he's
though.
just. I think that he does know, and this is an unpopular opinion, but I stand by it. I think it's true. If there was no contended primary for Hillary Clinton, because think about how narrow that loss was. Trump didn't win by a landslide. I think if you average it out, he won by like 2 votes in each county in the swing state. Nothing. There is no way Hillary Clinton would have won that election if there wasn't that contested primary of Democrats that made all of us sit there and be like, fuck Hillary Clinton, she sucks.
They
And
did that
was
with
the
Joe
reason
Biden
that
again.
Trump was just running over and over saying like, they did to Bernie wrong. They
That's
did Bernie
true.
very wrong. And we were
That's
sitting there being
true.
like, yeah, he's going to be another Bernie. That was a type of
True.
voter. Don't tell me that wasn't enough
No, it
votes
was.
that peeled off Hillary's victory.
But this is actually a problem that, like, we have to admit that the Democrats have. They not only did that with Hillary Clinton, they continue to do it with Biden. They kind of didn't. They didn't want any competition, and I understand that's to maintain because Biden was that compromise candidate everyone was okay with. I can understand why Democrats are like, let's just keep Biden. If we get rid of him, then it just opens the playing field, and there's going to be a lot of competition. But I think at some point the Democrats need to not be afraid of democracy. They
I
need
think
to
they've
be
got
okay
to be
with it.
very, very afraid of democracy. They've
That's
got to
where
be scared of it.
I think that's where you're going wrong. I think the Republicans were the same, except that Trump just like slammed through the entire process and just made it more democratic in the sense that like no one wanted him to be the Republican nominee. He just steamrolls everyone, and then the Republican base elects him
Exactly.
for
But
them.
That's the difference.
No, the Democrats need to have
The
some.
Republican base is just a cult faction towards Trump now.
No, so
right?
is like Democrat to a certain extent.
No, but they have 2 cult factions. That's the difference. That's why you need to just say, no, this is unanimous, because you're going to, whoever wins that contest, you're going to piss the other faction off.
So what happens now? So Kamala Harris, do you think there's going to be a lot of people pissed off if Kamala Harris doesn't even have to compete? Who is Kamala Harris?
Yeah, but
why
it's
does
not-
she
it's
get
not-
to
it's
be
not
the
about that.
president without
It's
anything?
about airing that message out to all the commentators, all the bozos like us that sit there and like, man, fuck Kamala. Like, if you don't give that oxygen and you just make her the nominee, none of that happens.
But you can't do that, dude. You need to have like, you need to take democracy into account. What does the Democratic base want? Isn't that a relevant question?
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can make it a relevant question, sure, but you get 2016 results. People
Fine.
do just
You're
faction
going to get
out.
2016 results anyways, honestly, at this point.
I think so too. But
Without
I think
Biden,
I think
you're gonna
gonna
get 2016 results.
Worse than 2016 results if you if you cause like this big.
Well, it doesn't
ruckus.
matter if it's worse or better because, like, if you lose, you lose. It's like winner takes everything. 1 by 1 or by 5,000.
What?
That's not true, man.
These aren't midterms, dude. This is a presidential election.
But there's still Congress people and senators getting elected. And the thing is, if you lose those seats, this is the whole thing. This is why incumbency is very important. Once you're in a seat, it's just harder to get someone out, even on a congressional level, right?
Actually, that's an
Once someone
advantage.
takes the seat and it's a Republican seat, it's just going to naturally drift Republican. It's hard to get it back.
Yeah, and that's an advantage that Harris is going to have, which is she'll remain the vice president throughout the campaign period. And
Right.
she'll have the president on her side. She's going to get some advantages of incumbency as well.
And the other thing is, as we were saying before, this was purely a donor class coup. The base of the Democratic Party, by and large, was standing behind Biden. You should have heard it over and over again, CNN, MSNBC. We now have 30 detractors against Joe Biden, forgetting that there's nearly 300 senators and congressmen. So it was like 1 in 10. 1 in 10. Jesus Christ. Anthony Albanese would be dancing down the street if 1 in 10 people in Labor wanted him to be Prime Minister. You know, like most political parties on earth do not have that type of support behind one candidate. It doesn't happen. And so they got rid of that consensus candidate. Insanity.
It is what it is.
Insanity.
By the way, Gavin Newsom was one of the first people to endorse Harris. I don't know what that says about him being a potential candidate.
Well, I think that Gavin Newsom has been playing that very well.
Why? When
Very
is
well.
he's just waiting for 2028?
He's waiting for 2028. And if not 2028, he's still young, 2032. Either way, if he has to wait out 4 years or 8 years, but he's
Why?
done the great thing of just
Gay
making
Pete.
himself a
I want
national
Gay
figure.
Pete.
Huh?
I like Gay Pete.
Why?
I think he's good, man. He needs to. You know, it maybe like you know how
He
Obama.
was just a mayor, wasn't he?
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
He's like slightly more experienced than Trump.
He was the Secretary of Transportation in the Biden administration.
Yeah, and Trump was president. So who's got more experience now?
All right. Well, this was an emergency podcast. Do we have anything else to add? Oh, by the way, for those of you watching right now, this isn't the only podcast. We're gonna come back and do the 7:30 podcast with a special guest. Do you want to say who it is?
No.
We don't want to say who it is.
Surprise.
So make sure that you tune in for 7:30 as well. Any closing statements before we wrap it up?
I do honestly think that this, when we look back at this from 10 years from now, 20 years from now, it will just be like Jimmy Carter and we'll think, what the fuck were we thinking? What the hell was that all about? Like, as Ali was saying, don't tell me sitting there being like, he's old. You are just saying that because the press said that he can't win because he's old. If the corruption thing worked, they'd just be saying he's corrupt the whole time. They switched tactic to that because everyone was like, oh, yeah, he's old. And then they just made the entire media narrative just about how he's old. And all of these, this is amazing. I also watch all of these YouTube commentators that I've never heard of before in my life. All of these like angles of like, you've got to support independent journalism.
Paul
because we
Murray.
Tell it like it is, like that. Dude, they sit there and they
Vosh.
shit on CNN and MSNBC all day, every day, and then they just say the same talking points. The exact same talking points.
Did you
that
see
MSNBC
Destiny
and
get
CNN
into
say.
trouble on Piers Morgan's show?
No.
He just said something about like, if you died at a Trump rally, I don't feel bad for you.
Holy shit.
He's like,
Jesus.
and then
Holy
Piers Morgan
fuck.
goes like, Destiny, what if it was someone from your family? Pierce, are you asking me that if someone from my family died versus a random guy died, what would I feel worse about? Yes, it'll be about my family. But if they go to a Trump rally, I think it's fair game.
Oh my God.
Empathetic man. And also a
Holy
guy
shit.
that makes his
He
living
went there.
sitting on his ass playing fucking Fallout. I'm more important than a guy who feeds me in like grows corn.
I mean, look, it's good TV. You're going to
It's
get
great
that. But like, I'll say this, man. I look. If, as Ali pointed out on a previous pod, there have been world leaders that have been 95 years old. They won. They're all saying, "Oh, Joe Biden will be 86 by the time of the end of the
Whatever.
So what? This guy was elected
Yeah.
When
Who
he
was
was
the-
14 years older than Biden
Who?
would be at the end of his term.
Who?
Dude,
It was the Malaysian Prime Minister.
Mahathir Mohamad.
Oh, really?
How old was Lula when he got elected again? The current president of Brazil. He was
Got to
old
be in his
too.
high
Yeah.
70s minimum.
Yeah.
80s, I think.
I reckon he's
80s,
probably in his
80s.
80s.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
From
It
like
happens all the time.
from history,
And it was all fine.
Yeah.
people have elected old people all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you now, everyone, all of these commentators would all just be regurgitating right now if the press was saying, oh, with age comes wisdom, they'd all just be saying, oh, yeah, well, you know, he's old. He's got a lot of experience. He's very...
Yeah.
It's complete bullshit. It's just any angle. That's what everyone regurgitates,
You kn-
right? But,
Yeah. You know what surprised me on that note? That Bill Maher, all the late show people like Colbert and who's the other one? Jon Stewart, all of them were like, he's obviously too old and has to step down. I was like, why? What? I'm so surprised they all said that. I was so shocked by that.
Me too. I was...
Even
really-
Bill Maher, because Bill Maher's whole thing all year has been like, people that say he's too old are ageist, and they're just, age is wisdom, and they're just, because America's a fucking superficial country that's obsessed with youth.
They all fell for it.
They all fell for it. Because that's... You watch Bill Maher now, and it's... And look, it even does that. Like, when he goes through his overtime, it goes, okay, we're now crushing over live, and we're broadcasting on CNN simultaneously. Everyone that he has on his panel now are just CNN...
So they all
MSNBC,
just get in his
talking
ear, and
heads.
he's like, now it's bad he's old. He's like, oh, okay.
But I do get it. If you just have all of these professionals constantly saying the same thing to you over and over, you're going to start believing
Yeah,
it.
your
Obviously.
ecosystem.
You're going to start believing it.
This little thing called independent thought. I thought these people were capable of it.
It is very sad that is now proven on 2 consecutive occasions with Carter and Biden that you do get a president in there that genuinely cares about the public, and this is how the public treats you. It's terrifying, isn't it?
I
Well,
agree.
to be fair, the public didn't treat him like that. His own party donors did.
And then the public ate it up.
The public was
public
actually,
hated
till the end, the base was kind of okay with Biden.
Democratic base, I've got no beef with.
Yeah.
The general public, and also on top of this,
Dude, the colored bases were great too. Black people still supported him till the end. Latino caucus supported him till the end. Like all of those, like, you know,
Yeah.
the bad eggs, they were all with him.
Yeah.
The progressives supported him. It was his own, like, you know, the George Clooney's that abandoned him.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's.
Isn't it? It's just. It's very. It's actually. This is a sad day for democracy.
I agree. I
think it
totally
is.
agree. I think it's superficial and.
Because this is the other thing. There's always going to be all these shitheads on there just being like, you didn't, I don't know, get out of Israel or something. No president is going to do that ever.
Yeah, wait
We're
till
talking
Trump
about
comes
like
in.
the office, right? Like what is realistic for the office. And that guy exceeded expectations. Exceeded it. He honestly makes... I think another reason that Obama went against him, it's mostly because of the donor class, but come on.
Did
you've gotta
Obama
say-
really-
Yeah, he fucking said. Obama was always a cunt to Biden. It's very obvious when you read his
But
biography.
Obama also made Biden the president. Without
Yes.
Obama, there
Yes,
wouldn't
that's
have been.
So
a
why did he
president.
flip?
Because the donors told him to get out. So he
Yeah, but
did,
I don't even know how much he flipped, dude. The fact that he hasn't supported Harris, I think he might be on the. He might not be as against Biden as people might have thought he was. Why, if he was constantly lobbying Biden to quit, he would have immediately endorsed Harris as well, because she's obviously.
Man, this isn't how these people work. Like Clooney coming out and saying, everyone I've spoken to says that he should step down. He just spoke to Obama. Come on.
Maybe, I don't know.
But
That's
why
what they
did-
do? They
Unprovable.
send out other messengers to say what they want to be
But,
said.
but why
Said
did
for
Obama do that?
Huh?
I'm surprised he did that. Like, why would he have said?
I think it's all the same thing. It was just donors said, we want him out. They cut off the money. And so you have people like your Pelosi's and your Schumers and your Obamas saying, get out.
Right.
Get out. You're not bringing in money to the party anymore. You're a liability now. That's why. And then the other thing is, look, man, I think that he knows that when the history books are written, it's going to say Joe Biden transformed the American economy for the 21st century. He was one of the most successful economic managers. 16 Nobel laureates all said that his economic plan was brilliant, right? 16.
That's crazy.
Economic Nobel laureates.
That's crazy.
They're all going to say that in the history books.
And they're also
And they're also going to say that he probably saved the world with how much he invested in green technology.
And they're
then you know what they're going to say about Obama in the history books? First black president. That's it. That's it. What the fuck else did he do?
And,
know.
and he
What
liked
else-
Dijon mustard. Let's not forget that. The Dijon. You don't remember Sean Hannity versus Obama Dijon mustard?
No.
Forget it.
Seems forgettable.
One of the greatest. Sean Hannity. There was a clip of Obama going to some sandwich shop and he said, "Can I have a Dijon mustard with that?" And then Sean Hannity was like, "My
Un-American.
God, the elite. He's
Oh,
a rich social.
Jesus
Dijon. What happened to
Christ.
good old American mustard?"
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Why isn't
and
he-
that says everything about him now. This donor class with his fancy French mustard. He's right. What is wrong with good American mustard?
Dude, it's so
This is
funny.
why Fox News keeps winning.
Why doesn't he like the mustard that's 90% sugar? That's what American mustard is.
Yes, totally.
It literally
you hate
is.
green M&Ms, yeah.
It's so.
Thank you, everyone that joined us for this emergency session on Biden.
That's it. Short and sweet.
Take a quick break. It's currently 5:15 in Sydney. We're going to be doing another podcast, streaming it live at 7:30.
Yeah, cool.
Wait, we might not be streaming. Are we streaming it live?
I don't know.
Yeah, we'll be streaming it live. So make sure you tune in for that as well, and we'll see you then. Bye-bye.
Sweet.